Police continue to search for the suspect or suspects involved in a shooting last night on the east side where a man was shot in the head. Good morning, I'm Sarah Acosta. We'll bring you the latest in just a bit.
And the latest trial for killer nurse Janine Jones is over before it even starts. Find out how families responded to seeing their baby's killer go to jail for life.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it's foggy in lots of areas in San Antonio, including downtown. Here's a shot of Central Catholic. We can see that because it's right across the street and it's lit up. We're going to check in with Mike for your forecast for today.
Live from KSAT12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It's Friday. It is January 17th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. And if you're headed out, hope you are being careful. It's very hard to see in some areas.
It's been a weird weather week around parts of South Texas. Here's Mike with an update on our Friday. Is this a freaky Friday weather-wise, Mike?
Well, given the fact that it's been like this all week long, I can't say it's too freaky, but hey, here's the good news. We will start to feel more like January by Sunday.
Okay.
So it's been delayed a little bit because the front's kind of slowing down, the main front, which is going to bring in the cooler temperatures. Out there by the airport, obviously, we do have a lot of fog, and visibility is still just a couple of hundred yards out there. 1 mile at Castroville. New Braunfels has dropped down now. Randolph has been dropping down. Good visibility around Pleasanton, a lot of fog out toward the hill country, and Austin at a 1/4 mile. So it seems like the thickest fog is right here along I-35, but obviously we're not done with the morning yet, and that fog is going to continue to stick around. We also have a lot of light rain around the area, a couple of moderate showers here and there. Everything is sliding up to the north, and it's just sort of scattered about. There is the chance to see more moderate to even some heavier downpours later on this afternoon, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms. And even though there's not a lot of rain showing up on radar right now, of course, with all the fog, it's misty out there, so the roads are definitely damp. Depends on where you live as far as temperatures. It is cold in the hill country, 40s, 60s here in town, and even close to 70 down along the coastal plain. That's because that front yesterday was sort of lying across the area, but that's going to move back up to the north. So everybody's going to, you have a break in the humidity right now in the hill country. That's going to go away today. Mountain cedar is very high. The updated count comes out later on this morning. This is yesterday's numbers. Mold is really high as well. I have a feeling mold's really going to be shooting up today. As far as the rest of the morning, temperatures will slowly work their way up. We'll stay fairly steady for the next couple of hours with some mist and fog, some showers around here. Mid-60s today at noon. High today up to 70. Again, a few showers, a couple of thunderstorms, and maybe a few heavier downpours. Few showers left over tomorrow as well. Then we'll start to clear out. We'll take a closer look at the weekend and next week coming up. Time saver traffic right now. And we've had a few a few accidents already, but right now, anything big out there?
It started off busy maybe when the fog a little bit heavier early in the morning. That's when we had the accidents.
Yeah.
Now things are starting to clear up out there. A lot of green folks on the screen, so that's great right now, especially for 6 a.m. But we didn't get started like that. So let's see some drive times first. We have here on 35 southbound at northeast side of 1604 to downtown 12 minutes. And if you're on 35 northbound from the southwest side 1604 to downtown is 12 minutes. Good commute times there. We have if you're on I-10 northwest to I-35 to 1604 12 minutes, and eastbound northwest side of 1604 to I-35 13 minutes. So great times. Let's take a look at the Trans Guide. Right here, 281 and Loop 410, those flyovers, everything's looking good. Traffic definitely started to pick up. 410 and Exchange Parkway, visibility is very, very, very bad right there. 410 at Jackson Keller, a little bit better. And let's do one more here, 410 at Broadway, traffic starting to pick up. Just be careful, it's still foggy in places. Make sure you keep your spacing, no bright lights, and no distractions. I want everyone to get to work safely. Well, I hope everyone has a great day. Mark, Stephanie.
New this morning, San Antonio police found a man shot in the head in an East Side Stripes convenience store, but that's not where the shooting happened. Sarah Acosta is live near the 4000 block of East Houston Street. Sarah, what can you tell us about what happened?
Good morning. Yeah, this Stripes, like you said, is not where that crime scene happened. Police were able to track down where the shooting happened by a trail that the victim's car left behind. Police say they got the call just before 12:30 this morning to the 400 block of East Houston. There was some kind of altercation involving the victim not too far from the Stripes on Houston at the Edge Apartments. That's right off I-10 behind a Starbucks. It was at that complex where shots were fired. The man who was shot was able to get into his car and drive off. Police say the victim rammed the gate of the complex. Police found the man's bumper on the highway. That's when he pulled into the stripes right next to the entrance of the Whitley Heights Sports Complex. He was taken to BAMC in critical condition. With a gunshot wound to the head. Police say they have little information at this time about the suspect or suspects involved, and they continue to search for them. Live from the east side, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT12 News. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. New this morning, investigators are looking into what caused a suspicious fire on the east side. Now, firefighters responded to the call just after 11 last night in the 1400 block of Montana. That's near East Commerce and New Braunfels Avenue. Officials say the building had been locked up and it had an unsafe sign on the door. They also say they found a homeless camp behind the building when it caught fire.
Janine Jones, known as the killer nurse, will spend life in prison. A judge sentencing Jones following a plea deal yesterday.
For one mother, her feelings were summed up in one phrase, saying, quote, "Finally, it's over." Our Paul Venema was in court for the emotional reactions from the families of the babies.
I will leave you with this. I hope for you to live a long and miserable life behind bars.
Janine Jones had just been sentenced to life in prison by Judge Frank Castro for killing Connie Weeks' infant son, Joshua Sawyer. As she had done with at least 6 other infants in the early 80s, Jones had injected the babies with lethal doses of either painkillers or muscle relaxants while caring for them in area hospitals.
You took God's most precious gift, babies, defenseless, innocent.
Following sentencing, the families of the other infants Jones had pled guilty to killing were permitted to address her. Afterward, they met with us outside the courtroom.
Nobody knows this pain I carry, only I. And finally, it's over.
Her baby, Rosemary Vega, was one of Jones' victims. Melissa Luna's brother, too, was killed by Jones.
Even though my brother is in a box, she's going to spend the rest of her life in a box, too. So I can smile today knowing that.
Jones' killing spree first came to light in Kerrville. She was convicted of killing 15-month-old Chelsea McClellan in 1984. She served a life sentence for that murder. Before she could be freed, Jones was indicted in the local deaths. In exchange for Jones' guilty plea, the remaining cases were dismissed.
For her to decide on her watch who lived and who died is nothing short of evil.
Jones will be eligible for parole in 18 years. She'll be 87, and eligibility rarely means release. For Good Morning San Antonio, I'm Paul Venema.
It's 6:07 right now, and the number of sepsis deaths around the world is double what researchers previously believed. Now, that's according to a new study in a medical journal. Sepsis occurs when a person's immune system overreacts to an infection, potentially causing organs to shut down. Now, the study estimates that sepsis accounts for roughly 1 in 5 deaths globally and about 270,000 deaths each year in the United States. Now, it costs the nation $24 billion a year, and more than half of all sepsis cases worldwide in 2017 were children.
Your Fitbit Fitness Watch could help health officials better prevent flu outbreaks. Researchers reviewed data which company's privacy policy allows it to use for research from users who wear Fitbits. Researchers tracked deviations in heart rate and sleep patterns, which tend to change when a person has the flu, and compared it to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Study authors say this marks the first time heart rate trackers and sleep data have been used to predict the flu or any infectious disease in real time.
Several U.S. service members were injured during last week's Iranian missile attack on an airbase in Iraq, despite the Pentagon initially saying that no casualties had taken place. Now, the U.S.-led military coalition fighting ISIS in Iraq and Syria said so in a statement. It says American soldiers were treated for concussions and some are still being assessed. On January 8th, the Iranians launched 16 missiles at 2 bases in retaliation for the U.S. airstrikes that killed Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani. And the United States' relationship with Iran has been a controversial topic during President Donald Trump's time in office.
The back and forth with the country includes the assassination of that Iranian general, Soleimani, and the recent missile attacks, new sanctions threatened, and a vote to limit the president's ability to take military action, which is why we want to know what questions you have about the tensions and our history with Iran. You can submit your questions right now at KSAT.com/SAQ.
Then later today, KSAT Steve Spreeser will be speaking about the conflict with Trinity political science professor Susan Siavashi, who happens to be from Iran. The conversation will be live streamed on KSAT.com at 2:30 this afternoon.